Self-confidence is not something you are born with or something that only a few lucky people receive in life. It is something you build every single day through your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, your failures, your courage, and your decision to never give up on yourself no matter how hard life becomes. Because confidence begins the moment you stop asking the world for permission to believe in yourself and start realizing that your worth does not depend on approval, likes, followers, money, status, or opinions. It depends on how deeply you trust yourself when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one is supporting you, and when it feels like everything is against you, yet you still choose to stand tall, breathe deeply, and say to yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I am worthy, and I will not quit, because confidence is not loud arrogance, it is quiet strength. It is waking up every morning even when you are tired, even when you are scared, even when you doubt yourself, and still choosing to move forward, still choosing to try again, still choosing to believe that your future is bigger than your present situation. Because every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are standing now, confused, uncertain, insecure, and afraid, but the difference was they refused to let fear decide their destiny. They refused to let failure define their identity. They refused to let rejection convince them they were not enough, and instead they used every setback as fuel, every mistake as a lesson, every loss as a reminder that they were still alive, still growing, still becoming stronger, because confidence is built in moments of discomfort, in moments of embarrassment, in moments of loneliness, in moments when you feel invisible, when you feel underestimated, when you feel ignored, when you feel forgotten, and yet you continue to show up, continue to work, continue to improve, continue to fight for your dreams, even when nobody believes in you. Because deep inside you know that your story is not finished yet, that your purpose is greater than your pain, that your potential is greater than your past, that your future is waiting for you to become bold enough to claim it, and self-confidence is the bridge between who you are today and who you are meant to become. It is the courage to speak when your voice shakes. It is the strength to walk away from negativity. It is the wisdom to stop comparing your journey to others. It is the discipline to stay focused when distractions surround you. It is the faith to trust your process when results are slow, and it is the patience to understand that growth takes time, because confidence does not mean you never feel fear. It means you do not let fear control you. It does not mean you never fail. It means you refuse to stay down. It does not mean you are perfect. It means you accept your flaws and still choose to love yourself, improve yourself, and respect yourself. Because when you respect yourself, the world begins to respect you. When you believe in yourself, opportunities begin to appear. When you commit to yourself, success begins to follow. And when you stop doubting your abilities begin to multiply, because your mind is the most powerful weapon you possess, and whatever you repeatedly tell yourself becomes your reality. If you tell yourself you are weak, you become weak. If you tell yourself you are incapable, you become incapable. But if you tell yourself you are resilient, you become resilient. If you tell yourself you are unstoppable, you become unstoppable. If you tell yourself you are worthy of greatness, you begin to act like it. And that is why self-confidence starts with self-talk, with replacing negative thoughts with empowering beliefs, with replacing excuses with effort, with replacing fear with faith, with replacing doubt with determination. And every time you choose courage over comfort, growth over laziness, discipline over distraction, you strengthen your confidence, you sharpen your character, you build your future, because confidence is not built in comfort zones. It is built in struggle zones, in sweat zones, in sacrifice zones, where you wake up early, stay up late, work when others rest, learn when others quit, and persist when others give up, because you understand that temporary discomfort is the price of permanent growth. And that pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It shows you your limits so you can break them. It shows you your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It shows you your fears so you can conquer them. And every challenge you face is preparing you for a bigger responsibility, a bigger opportunity, a bigger success, if only you have the courage to keep going, because self-confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. When you say you will wake up early, and you do. When you say you will practice, and you do. When you say you will improve, and you do. When you say you will not quit, and you don't. Every kept promise strengthens your self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Without it you hesitate, you doubt, you procrastinate, you stay stuck, but with it you move forward, you take risks, you chase dreams, you become unstoppable, because confident people are not fearless, they are faithful in their ability to learn, adapt, grow, and overcome. They know that even if they fail, they will rise again, even if they fall. They will stand again. Even if they lose, they will try again, and this mindset transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, dreamers into achievers, and survivors into champions, because confidence is not about being better than others. It is about being better than you were yesterday. It is about competing with your past, not comparing with someone else's highlight reel. It is about celebrating your progress. No matter how small, understanding that every step forward counts, every improvement matters, every effort adds up, and your journey is valid even if it looks different from others, because you were not created to copy, you were created to create, to contribute, to shine in your own unique way. And the moment you accept yourself fully, with your strengths and weaknesses, with your victories and scars, you unlock a level of confidence that cannot be shaken by criticism, rejection, or failure. Because you know who you are, you know what you stand for, you know what you are working toward, and no one can take that from you. And when life tries to test you, when people doubt you, when circumstances challenge you, when obstacles block your path, you remember why you started, you remember what you are capable of, you remember how far you have come, and you refuse to give up, because confidence is remembering your power in moments of weakness, remembering your worth in moments of doubt, remembering your dreams in moments of despair, and choosing hope over hopelessness, action over excuses, courage over comfort, because your future self is watching you right now, depending on you to stay strong, to stay focused, to stay disciplined, to stay hungry, and every decision you make today is shaping the life you will live tomorrow. So choose confidence, choose growth, choose belief, choose perseverance, choose self-respect, choose courage, choose consistency, choose excellence, choose resilience. Choose faith in yourself, because you are stronger than you think, wiser than you believe, braver than you feel, and more capable than you imagine. And the world is waiting for you to step into your power, to claim your purpose, to own your story, and to rise into the best version of yourself. Not someday, not next year, not when conditions are perfect, but starting right now, with this moment, with this breath, with this decision to believe in yourself, to trust your journey, to honor your potential, and to never again doubt the greatness that lives inside you. Success is not an accident, it is not luck, and it is not something that happens overnight. It is the result of disciplined decisions made daily, of sacrifices chosen silently, of habits built consistently, and of a mindset trained to see opportunity where others see obstacles, because real leaders and truly successful people understand that money, power, influence, and achievement are not rewards for wishing. They are rewards for working, learning, failing, adapting, and rising again stronger than before. And the first rule of building success is mastering yourself before trying to master the world, mastering your time, mastering your emotions, mastering your reactions, mastering your focus, mastering your energy. Because if you cannot control your habits will control your future. And if you cannot control your mind will control your destiny. And that is why discipline is the foundation of wealth, leadership, and long-term victory. Because discipline is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure, choosing delayed gratification over instant comfort, choosing effort over excuses, choosing consistency over motivation. Because motivation fades, feelings change, and emotions fluctuate, but discipline remains when everything else disappears. And the people who reach the top are not always the smartest, the richest, or the most talented. They are the most consistent, the most persistent, and the most committed to excellence even when no one is watching, even when progress is slow, even when results are invisible, because success happens quietly before it happens publicly. It is built in early mornings, late nights, lonely hours, and unseen sacrifices. And leadership begins when you stop waiting for permission and start taking responsibility for your life, your finances, your decisions, and your future, because leaders do not blame circumstances. They create solutions. They do not complain about problems. They become the answer. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They move forward in imperfect ones. And money is not evil. Power is not dangerous, and ambition is not selfish. When used correctly, they become tools for freedom, impact, and legacy. Because wealth is not about showing off. It is about having options. It is about providing for your family, supporting your community, investing in your dreams, and building something that lasts beyond you. And the wealthy mindset is different from the poor mindset, not in intelligence, but in perspective, because poor thinking focuses on scarcity, fear, and limitation, while wealthy thinking focuses on growth, opportunity, and expansion. Poor thinking asks, how much does it cost? Wealthy thinking asks, how much can it return? Poor thinking avoids risk, Wealthy thinking manages risk. Poor thinking stays comfortable. Wealthy thinking seeks improvement. And this shift in thinking is what separates survivors from builders, employees from entrepreneurs, followers from leaders, because leaders understand that money flows toward value. And if you want more income, you must create more value, solve more problems, help more people, improve more skills, and expand more influence. And this requires continuous learning, constant self-education, and relentless curiosity. Because in a fast-changing world, those who stop learning start losing, and those who keep learning keep winning. And leadership is not about titles, positions, or authority. It is about influence, responsibility, and example. It is about being the person who works hardest in silence, who speaks with integrity, who acts with courage, who treats people with respect, who keeps promises, and who stands strong in difficult times. Because people do not follow words, they follow behavior. They do not respect speeches, they respect consistency. And true leaders build trust before they build empires. And discipline in money means budgeting when others spend, investing when others consume, saving when others waste, and planning when others improvise, because financial freedom is not created by high income alone. It is created by smart management, wise investment, and patient strategy. And every successful person understands that money must work for you instead of you working for money forever. And this requires vision, patience, and long-term thinking, because quick money creates short-term pleasure. But long-term wealth creates lifetime security, and success also requires emotional intelligence, the ability to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly in chaos, to communicate effectively in conflict, and to lead confidently in uncertainty. Because the higher you rise, the more pressure you face, the more criticism you receive, the more responsibility you carry. And without emotional control, success becomes a burden instead of a blessing. And powerful leaders understand that ego destroys empires, arrogance destroys relationships, and pride blocks growth, while humility attracts wisdom, feedback, and improvement. And discipline in health is also part of leadership, because a weak body weakens the mind, low energy reduces productivity, and poor habits reduce performance. And that is why high achievers train their bodies, protect their sleep, manage their diet, and respect their energy, because they understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint, and burnout destroys more dreams than failure ever will. And the money mindset also requires understanding that setbacks are investments in experience, losses are tuition fees for wisdom, and failures are stepping stones to mastery, because every entrepreneur, every millionaire, every industry leader has lost money, made mistakes, trusted wrong people, failed projects, and faced rejection. But they refused to quit. They studied their mistakes, adjusted their strategy, and returned stronger, smarter, and more prepared. And this resilience separates temporary winners from lifelong champions. And leadership also means building others, mentoring teams, empowering employees, inspiring partners, and creating systems that work even when you are not present. Because true success is not doing everything yourself. It is building something that functions without you. And this requires trust, delegation, and vision. And discipline in communication is essential. Speaking clearly, listening deeply, negotiating fairly, and resolving conflicts wisely, because relationships are currency, reputation is capital, and trust is the foundation of every successful venture. And one careless word can destroy years of hard work, while one sincere apology can rebuild broken bridges. And money success also depends on courage, the courage to invest when scared, to launch when uncertain, to lead when doubted, and to stand alone when necessary. Because every breakthrough begins with a decision that feels uncomfortable, risky, and uncertain. And those who wait for confidence before acting wait forever, while those who act despite fear create momentum, and momentum creates mastery, and mastery creates money. And leadership is also about ethics, honesty, and responsibility, because dirty money brings dirty problems, dishonest success brings constant fear, and unethical leadership destroys legacy. While clean success brings peace, respect, and long-term influence, and discipline also means saying no to distractions, toxic relationships, unproductive habits, and time-wasting activities, because every yes to distraction is a no to destiny, and every wasted hour is a stolen opportunity. And high achievers protect their time like their life depends on it, because it does. And the mindset of abundance also means celebrating others' success without jealousy, learning from competitors without hatred, and collaborating without insecurity, because scarcity thinking isolates, while abundance thinking multiplies. And leaders understand that success is not a limited resource. There is enough opportunity for Everyone who is willing to work for it. And money mindset also includes gratitude, appreciating progress, respecting the journey, and remembering your roots, because gratitude keeps ambition healthy, and humility keeps success sustainable. And the final secret of success, discipline, money, and leadership is alignment. Aligning your goals with your values, your actions with your vision, your habits with your dreams, and your daily routine with your destiny. Because when everything in your life moves in the same direction, progress becomes unstoppable, growth becomes inevitable, and greatness becomes natural. And your future is built today in small choices, in silent sacrifices, in private discipline, in unseen effort, and in relentless belief. So choose excellence, choose responsibility, choose courage, choose integrity, choose consistency, choose growth, choose leadership, choose wealth with wisdom, choose power with humility, choose ambition with ethics, and choose to become not just successful, but significant, not just rich, but respected, not just powerful, but purposeful, because the world does not need more followers, it needs more leaders, and leadership begins with you. Right now, in this moment, with the decision to rise, to learn, to work, to grow, and to never stop becoming better than you were yesterday. True greatness is not measured by how much money you make, how many followers you gain, or how much power you hold. It is measured by how deeply you impact lives, how honestly you live your values, how strongly you stand for truth, and how faithfully you protect your character when no one is watching. Because legacy is not something you leave behind one day. It is something you build every single day through your choices, your behavior, your words, and your intentions, and purpose is not found by searching outside yourself. It is discovered by listening within, by understanding what breaks your heart, what fuels your passion, what inspires your courage, and what gives your life meaning beyond comfort and convenience. Because a life without purpose may look successful on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. An inner peace is the true currency of fulfillment, the kind that cannot be bought, stolen, or destroyed by circumstances, the kind that remains calm in chaos, hopeful in hardship, and grateful in uncertainty. And spiritual strength is not about perfection. It is about connection to your values, your faith, your conscience, and your higher calling. It is about remembering that you are part of something greater than your fears, greater than your failures, and greater than your doubts. And when you live with spiritual strength, you stop chasing approval and start honoring truth. You stop fearing opinions and start respecting principles. You stop running after temporary pleasure and start building eternal impact. Because every action plants a seed, every word creates an echo, every decision shapes a destiny. And whether your legacy becomes light or shadow depends on what you choose today. And the most powerful leaders in history were not remembered for their wealth, but for their wisdom, compassion, courage, and sacrifice, because people forget what you owned, but they never forget how you made them feel, how you treated them in their weakest moments, how you supported them in their darkest hours, and how you believed in them when they had lost belief in themselves. And purpose-driven people understand that success is a responsibility, not a trophy. It is a platform to serve, to uplift, to educate, to inspire, and to create opportunities for others. And when you shift from selfish ambition to meaningful contribution, your work becomes worship, your effort becomes impact, and your life becomes a message. And inner peace is protected by boundaries, by knowing when to say no, when to walk away, when to forgive, and when to let go, because carrying anger, jealousy, regret, and hatred poisons your soul and steals your joy, while forgiveness, gratitude, patience, and humility heal your spirit and strengthen your resilience. And spiritual discipline means daily reflection, self-accountability, prayer, meditation, gratitude, and honest evaluation of your intentions, because without reflection, success becomes arrogance, power becomes cruelty, and achievement becomes emptiness. And the strongest people are not those who never fall, but those who rise with humility, learn with sincerity, and grow with wisdom. And legacy builders understand that raising strong families, mentoring young minds, protecting moral values, and serving communities are as important as building businesses and careers, because wealth without wisdom destroys generations, while values with vision create dynasties, and your children, students, employees, and followers will not remember your speeches, they will remember your example, how you handled pressure, how you treated strangers, how you respected elders, how you honored commitments, and how you stood firm in difficult times. And spiritual strength also teaches patience, the ability to wait without frustration, to trust without seeing, to work without immediate reward, and to remain hopeful in delayed success. Because everything meaningful takes time to grow, whether it is character, wisdom, relationships, or legacy, and rushing destroys depth. Impatience weakens purpose, and shortcuts corrupt destiny. And peace also comes from acceptance, accepting that you cannot control everything, that some doors will close, some people will leave, some plans will fail, and some dreams will change, but every ending carries a lesson. Every loss brings growth, and every setback prepares you for something better. And when you trust this process, anxiety fades, fear weakens, and confidence strengthens. And purpose-driven living also means choosing integrity over profit, honesty over shortcuts, kindness over cruelty, and service over selfishness. Because at the end of life, you will not be judged by your bank balance, but by your balance of character, compassion, and contribution. And the greatest reward is not applause, it is peace of mind, not popularity, but purpose, not recognition, but respect. And spiritual maturity also means learning to be alone without loneliness, silent without emptiness, and still without boredom. Because solitude builds self-awareness, reflection builds wisdom, and stillness builds strength. And legacy is built when you turn pain into purpose, scars into stories, wounds into wisdom, and struggles into strength. When you use your past not as an excuse but as evidence of resilience, not as a prison but as preparation. And every hardship you survived becomes a testimony for someone else's healing. And purpose multiplies when shared, when you teach what you learned, when you guide what you mastered, when you support what you once needed. Because helping others rise never makes you fall. It only lifts you higher. And spiritual leadership means leading with love, truth, fairness, and humility, not with fear, manipulation, or ego, because authority earned through character lasts, while authority forced through power collapses. And inner peace also requires self-respect, refusing to tolerate abuse, dishonesty, or disrespect, valuing your time, protecting your energy, and honoring your worth. Because you cannot pour from an empty heart, you cannot inspire from exhaustion, and you cannot lead without balance. And the final truth about legacy, purpose, and spiritual strength is that your life is a story being written every day. And one day it will end, but its message will continue through the people you touched, the values you planted, the dreams you supported, and the love you shared. So write a story worth remembering, live a life worth honoring, build a legacy worth protecting, and walk a path worth following by choosing faith over fear, purpose over pleasure, service over selfishness, wisdom over pride, peace over chaos, and love over hate. Because when your time comes to leave this world, let it be said that you lived fully, loved deeply, served sincerely, led courageously, and left humanity better than you found it. And that is the highest form of success, the truest form of confidence, and the greatest legacy any human being can ever achieve.